Hi folks, today is part 2 of how to choose your glasses. Last time we talked about the requirement to make sure you get some help, because choosing glasses is important and it's something you can't afford to get wrong. Today I want to talk very briefly about the technical requirements of glasses. Now this is obviously a big area. You have to go to university and study for many years to do what we do, and so I'm not going to be able to explain to you in 2 minutes all the technical requirements of glasses. You have to study physics, optics, math, you have to study chemistry to understand the materials of the frames and the lenses and so on. So there's a lot of complexity here, but a couple of things I want to highlight for you. The first is to do with the prescription. Now if you've got a low prescription, so that's a number near to 0, then you've got a lot of flexibility when it comes to frames, because your lenses are going to be relatively thin and light and you don't need to worry too much about what frame you're choosing, so you've got a lot more flexibility there. Now on the other hand, if you have a high prescription, things are a little more complicated. Now if you're a high plus prescription, you will find that your lenses are thicker in the center and thinner towards the edge, and that means that you're going to do better with a round shaped frame rather than a square shaped frame. So if you're a high positive prescription, you're going to want to choose something with a round shaped frame to minimize the thickness and weight of your lenses, and I can explain why that is the case, but you just trust me for now, that is the case. Now if you're short-sighted like I am and minus powers, and I'm about -5.5, and the opposite is true, so your lenses are thinner in the center and thicker at the edges. Here's an old pair of my rimless frames, and you can see what happens there. So in the center where I'm looking through the lens, you can see it's thin, and towards the edge it's very thick. And that's why rimless frames like this don't look great on people who are quite short-sighted, because you can see all the thickness of the lenses at the edge of the lens, and that's cosmetically not really a great result. And so you're much better to use an acetate frame, something more like what I'm wearing, so you can see the lenses are the same thickness, but much of the thickness is hidden by the frame, so the lenses look much thinner and lighter even though they're not. And so with a high minus prescription, you're better choosing a slightly thicker frame, which is going to hide a lot of the weight and thickness of the lenses. The second thing I want to discuss is varifocals. Now the important thing about varifocals is the depth of the lens. The width doesn't really matter for varifocals, the depth is the key thing. So something like my rimless frame here, this isn't great for varifocals. Now I don't wear varifocals, so it doesn't matter, but that is quite a shallow frame. Now with varifocals you need to allow enough room to get the progression from distance to reading, and so you need sufficient depth to allow that progression. You can cram a varifocal into a frame like that, but you're compressing the optics, and that makes the varifocals less likely to work. So you hear about people saying, oh, they're all distorted, no, I can't walk downstairs, and all this sort of thing, and that's often because they've been crammed into an inappropriate frame. If you choose a much deeper frame, there's much more room to allow the progression from distance to reading, and it's a much more comfortable varifocal to wear. So there's a couple of technical considerations. We could talk all day about the density of lenses, thinner, lighter lenses, things like that, aspherics, biaspherics, and how to reduce the minification and magnification you get with lenses and so on. There's a lot you can do and a lot of technical changes you can make that are going to make your glasses look and sit much better on your face. But for the moment, there's a couple of things to get you started.